6 things I wish I did in my 20s that I will now use in my 30s. So the first one, to go right off the bat, is don't waste time. And that is obvious because I feel like a lot of people, they mention that, oh, don't waste your time. Make sure you know what you want to do, because you don't want to be in your 40s with a dead-end job that you don't like, only paying you minimum wage. So don't waste your time. And I kind of do agree, because that is obvious. Don't waste your time doing things that you shouldn't. And I feel like nowadays, a lot of people, they do that. They waste their time. They waste their teenage years. They waste their 20s. And how do they waste it? By going out and drinking with friends and doing stuff that they shouldn't, smoking and all that. If I'm being honest, I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I feel like those are the biggest time wasters. Like, go and do something with your life. Like, why do people, or why do kids or teenagers think it's cool to be out in the parking lot or somewhere smoking and drinking and doing all this? Like, don't waste your time. I feel like there's better ways to dedicate your time towards something else that could be productive. So don't waste your time. I feel like that's just plain and simple and doesn't need a lot of words, because I feel like that speaks for itself. Don't waste your time. The second thing that I would do that I wish I did in my 20s is learn a skill. That skill could range from a lot of things, whether it's knowing how to do handyman work, knowing how to fix a broken pipe, knowing how to fix the toilet, or knowing how to edit videos or be a videographer, doing something. Learn a skill that you feel like will benefit you in the long run. Now, this is something I wish I did, because I didn't really do a lot in my early 20s. Now, obviously, I know how to do YouTube videos. I know how to edit. Well, a lot of people might debate, well, that's not really a skill, Anthony. You never know. Maybe someone is looking for a video editor and I happen to be there and I become their video editor. That is a skill, because not a lot of people know how to have a good eye for editing a video. But learning a skill is very important, and that's something that I will tell people, or tell kids or teenagers, or young adults in their early 20s, to learn a skill. Learn how to provide value to a lot of other people. If you want to even just make coffees for like a small business, then hey, that is still a skill, because not a lot of people have that ability to make a very good latte. As simple as that sounds, that is still a little skill. But obviously this could range from a lot of things, right? If you want to do like handyman work, or maybe you want to know how to build a house, or do the shingles on the roof, or know how to ventilate certain buildings, that is all a skill. So that is something that I wish I would have done in my 20s, which now I'm gonna probably do in my 30s. I really need to try to learn as many skills as I can to just provide a lot of value. And honestly, that's not bad. Even just changing a tire from a car is a skill that you could help learn. In case someone's car is stuck on the side of the road, you could be right there in case their tire popped. So the third thing that I would do is to think about your future 5 years from now. When I was in my 20s, I wasn't really thinking about the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I was pretty much just living in the moment. And while that's not bad, I feel like knowing how to plan out your next 5 years is very important, because you're setting yourself goals and you're setting yourself stuff so that you could work towards. If you don't really have anything you're working towards, then you're kind of just going with the flow. And like I said, that is not bad. Ultimately, just living your day by day, or living your life every single day by day, is not bad. But it's always important to plan out your future 5 years from now, even 2 years from now. It's always important to know how to plan out your life, because that will give you, like I said, a goal in mind. It will give you that mindset to just go after your goals. So that is something that I wish I would have done in my 20s. Number 4, and that is to invest in your health. Now, I invested in my health in my early 20s. And yes, I know that's something that I did do, but I wanted to throw this in here because I feel like a lot of kids nowadays, they don't really invest in their health. All they do is pretty much just go and eat Chick-fil-A, eat In-N-Out, eat Raising Cane's every single night, every single day. And they're pretty much just out with their friends, partying, drinking, and all that. And in the long run, that is not going to work out, guys. That's just simply not going to work out. That is not a good, healthy routine. I'm I'm not saying you cannot eat that, because obviously I still eat that every now and then, but it's always important to invest in your health. Go to the gym, find a hobby, find something that burns calories, do something that gets your body moving, whether it's mountain climbing, bike riding, canoeing, hiking, or even just plain and simple going to the gym, which is what a lot of people do nowadays. I would say invest in your health, and a lot of that also has to do with your diet. So maybe don't go out so much to the fast food restaurants, and don't eat so many fatty foods or things that are fried or carbs or donuts or chips and all the unhealthy stuff. No, focus on whole foods like chicken, fish, vegetables, all the healthy stuff. You guys are smart people. You guys know what's healthy, and especially with the internet nowadays, we could search up the 20 most healthiest foods, and I guarantee you, if you follow that list of healthy foods, you will ultimately be in a better shape than 95% of the population, because a lot of people, they don't bother looking into the research of how to be healthy. Sometimes I look into my family and they're so used to eating like tortillas, they're so used to eating all these breads and all these pizzas and all these things with dough, with carbs, and it's like they have the information on hand, but yet they don't do it. And I'm not saying you can never eat like some tortillas or bread. No, everything in moderation is good. But for the most part, a lot of people, they still eat the foods that are not really considered healthy, and they still eat them every single day, and then they wonder why they're not in the healthiest shape. So invest in your health, guys, with fitness and with your diet. Now, the fifth thing that I would add here is to learn to be open-minded, and this is something that I wish I would have done in my 20s, because when I was in my 20s, I was very like a firm, stern type of guy. Like I would have one mindset and I would stick to it. Nowadays, I am more open-minded, right? So, when people tell me their opinions or their perspectives, I try to put myself in their shoes so that I could understand them. And I feel like that's what a lot of people need to do nowadays. Now, this is obviously my opinions, whether or not you want to take these opinions is entirely up to you. But I would just say to learn to be open-minded, because that will allow you to bring in new perspectives in your mindset. Maybe it will even help you influence the way you dictate your next 5 years, right? So just be open-minded. Now, the last one that in my opinion is even more important than a lot of these, and that is to be more forgiving. Now, you might tell yourself, well, Anthony, what do you mean by being more forgiving? Well, plain and simple, there's a lot of dumb people in this world. There's a lot of very, very naive people in this world, or there's maybe a lot of jerks out there. Just be more forgiving. Learn how to set aside your differences and be the bigger person, and see if it's worth arguing over something that's so small. Learn to be forgiving. If people do mistakes, learn to forgive them, because sometimes they don't have bad intentions, but maybe they just don't have the knowledge of the things that they're doing. Like, for example, sometimes people in life could just be jerks. Maybe they cut you off, maybe they give you a bad look, maybe their attitude is wrong towards you. Just be more forgiving. And I know a lot of you guys are probably like, no, Anthony, if someone is mean to me, I'm gonna need to be mean to them. And that's kind of like where the problem lies. A lot of the times, these arguments or all these altercations, they happen because of our ego. Our ego is pretty much always going to stand up for ourselves. It's pretty much always going to cause an altercation if you don't know how to control your ego. So be more forgiving. If someone doesn't hold the door for you, hey, just think to yourself, maybe they're having a bad day, and go about your day. If someone decides to flip you off, just turn the other way and walk, because it's better to be the bigger person than to stoop down low to their level of the person that flipped you off. Or if someone cursed you out, just be like, hey man, like, you know what, I didn't mean to do nothing, or you're such a sad person, right? It's not bad to call them out. Like, for example, if someone says something to me like, oh, dude, you suck, you're a loser, I'll be like, damn bro, like, are you really that sad of a person that you're insulting me? Like, I haven't done nothing to you, you know what, I'm just gonna walk away and I'm just gonna let you live your miserable life. That's something honestly that I would do. Now, I don't mean any harm to the person. I'm just simply telling them the truth. Like, why are there so many negative people out there? Just be more forgiving. And those are 6 things I wish I did in my 20s that I will now hopefully use in my 30s. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and click on the video that YouTube is going to recommend, and I'll see you guys on the next one.